Hey guys, AllSports83 here with what could be part 3 of my discussion on NASCAR 21 Ignition, which is set to release in just 4 days from now. 6 days if you're not in the pre-order gang. And before I get to today's topic, I really just want to say thanks to everyone who has taken part in the conversation in the previous couple of videos. There's been a lot of comments in the comment section, and it's certainly given me a lot to think about. I've really enjoyed reading everything that everyone has said, so thanks for getting involved. It's really been a lot of fun. So what I've been thinking about today is I've really just been wondering about motorsport games and how much they really know about NASCAR. I hinted at this in the first part of this kind of discussion a couple of days ago in a video, the first video here, and I really just want to kind of get into it a little more. It feels like the approach for developers has always been to create a NASCAR-themed racing game, where casual racing fans kind of pick up a copy and just go race a car. Now, I'm not as nostalgic over the NASCAR Thunder games as most others are, but it's obvious that there was a clear aim in those games to focus on NASCAR the sport and not just being a racing game. NASCAR is not a racing game. It's a sport that has racing. Now, don't misunderstand me or misunderstand what I'm saying. Of course, NASCAR's most important aspect is their flavor of racing. But it's unlike any other kind of racing. And more than that, NASCAR is a whole different thing than any other form of motorsports, on and off the track. So, if I'm being honest, I think that the casual racing fan is not going to make a NASCAR game their go-to racing experience. That's why Forza and Project Cars are so popular. So that's a flawed business model for making a NASCAR game. So motorsport games needs to stop catering to the average racing fan or even the casual NASCAR fan when making a NASCAR game. Instead, they need to build a game with the core of NASCAR fans in mind. But in order to do that, you have to be a NASCAR fan. You can't just know that NASCAR is a thing, do some research, and throw that hot mess together in developing a racing game. Again, NASCAR is not just about racing. NASCAR is a sport with its own flair and its own technical and scientific culture. It has specific experiences and challenges. There are unique strategies and rules only found in the world of NASCAR. So it's simply not feasible to create a racing game and then try to paint it with the NASCAR theme based on what you found on Wikipedia. Okay, that's a bit harsh. I'm sure they didn't go to Wikipedia. But I think you get my point. This is why there has been so much criticism year after year in terms of the immersion of the game. The hardcore NASCAR fans, they know immediately when something isn't right, and they recognize immediately when something is missing that would normally be part of the world of NASCAR. You need some examples? Well, I'll go easy on you and give you like 2 or 3. First is pit road. Now, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but I am so tired of watching videos of all the pit road activity. I'll leave it here. I'll leave it there for now. If you want more details about my thoughts, I'll put a couple of videos in the description from my past conversation about this. My thoughts on pit road for NASCAR gaming is well documented on my channel. Another example is the spotter. I have never heard a decent spotter in a NASCAR game. Never. And this may be a great example of evidence that these developers aren't really NASCAR fans. Case in point, in what universe is Jeff Gordon or Tony Stewart going to be your spotter? To me, that just screams research-based implementation from a developer that doesn't watch NASCAR. It's like they said, hey, Jeff Gordon's popular, let's make him the spotter in the game. That'll be a treat for the gamers. Even the spotter in the new game just sounds inauthentic. He articulates too much. He uses too many words. He uses phrases I've never heard a real spotter say. I mean, I'm not a developer, but this seems like such an easy part of the game to get right. I mean, just go to a few races, work with a few teams, and capture some audio of real spotters during real races, edit out the team specifics, and boom, you have a plethora of audio clips for the new game. What about the choose rule as another example? And this is a tough one, because if you weren't a real NASCAR fan during the 2 or 3 weeks in August of 2020 when they implemented the choose rule, I don't think you know what it is. I'm not even sure researching NASCAR would reveal what the choose rule is or what it does. And guess what? It's not in the game. I find it hard to believe that the decision makers at Motorsport Games would just ignore certain NASCAR rules or get certain rules so inaccurate if they were true NASCAR fans. Like the yellow line rule, or coming off of pit road under green. How many casual NASCAR fans do you think understand that a driver can be black flagged if they blend onto the track too early after a green flag pit stop? Or why that's important? Go YouTube Kevin LePage at Talladega, or Daytona, I can't remember the track now. My point here is that you just can't skip over certain things that are really important to the culture of NASCAR, the sport. So, what's the better approach? Well, here's what I would do. Design this game only for hardcore NASCAR fans. Meaning, the default of the game, when you play it the first time, is with no assists. That's the default of the game. No steering help, no braking assist, no stability control. Spend all of your time perfecting those physics. The next step is get intimate with NASCAR as a sport. Partner with real NASCAR fans. Okay, well, maybe not that particular brand of NASCAR fan, but hey, I'm glad those guys are having a good time. Yeah, that looks better. Partner with NASCAR fans like that. Hire qualified developers who are also NASCAR fans, and task them with making sure the game experience is rooted in NASCAR culture. Create a publicly based forum, a place where everybody can go to interact, and so that you can interact with the NASCAR fan community, as well as cultivating real relationships with content creators so dialogue can go back and forth. Once all parties involved feel this task is accomplished, accepting that, there are always some exceptions to that rule, you can't really please everyone, but when there's a majority consensus that this goal has been met, then and only then do you start implementing some options for the casual gamer. Then you can add some driving assists as an option. Then you can create options to skip certain immersion aspects of the game. You see, at this point, you'll have your base. And then you can think about drawing new people in. But you're not selling a racing game. That's what Project Cars is for. Instead, you're selling a sport. You're selling a specific experience. And you're not alienating your base in the process. Not only are you satisfying your base, but you're also supporting the sport that you're trying to replicate. And if you're helping them, they're more than likely going to help you. Now, I know that I'm kind of skimming the top of the mountain on a lot of this stuff, but that's why you create the forums. That's why you hire qualified NASCAR fans within your company and create meaningful dialogue with content creators. You will need to do all this stuff to work through the mountains of issues to do this the right way. But it's absolutely worth it in my opinion. It's worth it for everyone involved, if it's done right. And maybe it takes longer than expected to accomplish this. So what? Just be honest with your consumers. I know there's been a lot of criticism from content creators in the gaming community, but if it's one thing we've shown, it's that we're really patient and tolerant, especially when you're transparent. Just don't abuse that courtesy. Again, I'm choosing to take Motorsport Games at face value and believe that they're trying the best they can. I'm going to continue to support them for now, and I have seen some pretty good things out of some of these early release videos, like the ability to drive inside the garage area. That is sweet. Let's build on that, please. There's some good things in career mode. The game is visually nice, but if Motorsport Games ever hopes to turn the corner and make these games something really special and something that people are really going to want to be involved with and really want to play consistently, then I think they're going to have to take these steps. But hey, what do I know? Maybe you can tell me in the comments section what I'm missing. As always, I welcome further discussion from all who watch my content. I'll be interested to see what you have to say. And I know that it sounds like I'm being more negative toward Motorsport Games than maybe any other video, and I'm not trying to be that way. I'm thinking through what I think the biggest issue is with developing NASCAR games, and it's not just Motorsport Games. I think it's been every developer for the last 15-20 years that I don't know how connected to the sport they are. It doesn't feel like you're connected to a sport when you're missing sometimes even basic things that are kind of glaring to the core NASCAR fan. They really jump out at you. And I'm seeing this stuff in these videos from these content creators that I've mentioned in other videos. Real Radman, Disco Inferno, Sloppy Joe, all these guys, What If Racing. They're pointing stuff out that is just immediate to your core NASCAR fan. And I feel like I'm not the only one that would say, if I were at Motorsport Games and I saw a copy of the game where the yellow line rule was broken, or any of the other rules that don't seem to be right in the game right now, if I saw that, there is no way I would just be silent and let that make its way out into the community. I'd be shouting from the rooftops, this has to be fixed. This little physics issue, we can't do it this way. Black flag rules, whatever it is, I couldn't just let it be. So that's why I'm really questioning their connection to NASCAR. How much do they really care about the sport? How much do they really watch it? Aside from researching it for their job or their career, whatever, do they get into the nuts and bolts of the sport? I don't know. If I were willing to bet, I would say there's probably not a whole lot of that going on. I don't know why. I don't know why you would just let these little things happen, because they're not little things to those who really understand the sport. They're big things. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe my brain is starting to go in different places. So I'm probably just going to end the video here, and going to hand it over to you guys in the comment section now. I'll be really excited to hear what you have to say. Maybe you can tell me where I'm missing something. Maybe there's something I'm not considering. And maybe if you're watching this and you're a game developer, even not for Motorsport Games, maybe there's a side of this I'm not seeing, I'm not understanding. I'd really be interested to hear, what are the stumbling blocks to doing what feels like really basic things so that NASCAR, the sport, is better represented in these games? Maybe I'm just missing something. I don't know. So you guys let me know. So I'll turn it over to you now. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and maybe my brain will start working again here in the next couple days, and maybe I'll be able to articulate some more thoughts before we get the release. If not, I'll be excited to see what you guys have to say, and I appreciate you watching.